In this video, I'm going to talk about what it means to face rejection as a man. Now, I'm 40 years old. I've been through many rejections, whether it's relationships, which is the first thing people think about, but also in career, business decisions, and a lot of different situations. Now, the first thing I could tell you about rejection is it's temporary. It doesn't last forever, and rejections are just people's perspectives. There's other people's opinions. And people are allowed to have their own opinions, whether it's in the relationship or the business. But for me, I think the biggest thing to understand rejection, that's the other person. And it has nothing to do with who I am as a person, who I become. They may have a certain perspective, but they only see a portion of that perspective. They don't see the whole globe and the whole ball around it. I call it the beach ball method. Anytime someone wants to be able to understand and make a qualified decision, they have to ask enough questions about whatever it is they're about to have a decision on. Now, for me, when it comes to rejection, the way I've handled it is just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna keep it moving. And I know that not a lot of people have that perspective, but as a guy, in reality, we're always going to get some form of rejection. Just let it brush off your shoulders. Rejection's tough because it feels like I'm not qualified or I'm not good enough. And sometimes you got to understand that when people reject you or tell you no, it actually says more about themselves. They're not open. They're not curious. They're closed-minded. Whatever it is, you got to be able to understand that a rejection is just an absence of being fully understanding of the situation, like I mentioned earlier. But I couldn't let rejection define me, because if I let rejection define me, I would never be able to go on dates with all these women, or I wouldn't be able to start all these businesses. I wouldn't have been able to build careers. For example, so I'm a pharmacy technician by trade. Now, throughout my career, I was always told I'm not good enough. But I got into a situation where I was being promoted to supervisor into management, but I had a really large team. This is like a role that technically should be for like a pharmacist or a doctor, but because of my skill set and the willingness to say yes and volunteer myself, created that opportunity. But I still had haters saying I couldn't do what I could do. I couldn't get the respect that I should have for my ability to execute. And it happens time and time again. And so to feel rejected, it eats at your soul. And it hurts. Temporarily, it stings. One of the things I've done to actually not feel the rejection is to just do it anyways. When someone tells me, oh, you can't do that, watch me, bitch. If I'm talking to someone to say, oh, you don't know what you're doing, one of my responses is to ask them, hey, tell me what you're doing then. If you're so knowledgeable about this, why don't you train me and show me? Most of the time people get put on the spot and they don't know how to handle a situation. So I like to put people on blast and, okay, if you know what's up, let me know. If they do know, all right, cool. That actually works because then I get free training and I get free learning. But if they don't know, it actually shuts them up. So one of the tricks I use to qualify other people's responses. Now, when it comes to relationships, rejection, just rejection. If they don't like you, then they don't like you. If you're ugly, for me, I think I'm ugly, but that's part of the reason why I laugh about it, because throughout my whole life, me and my cousins, our inside joke and our nickname for each other is ugly. Like me and my family, we haze each other really bad all the time. And this has been going on since I was a kid, and I'm turning 40 this year and it still hasn't stopped. And we tease each other all the time. So our nicknames for each other is like ugly or other names that I can't say on here. But the reason why I'm able to take rejection so well is because my cousins would haze me so much that I don't get fazed by anyone at all. And that's not to say go look for someone to bully you or pick on you or whatever it is and tease you. But the premise on that is to desensitize myself and my cousins from other people's opinions and what other people say. It's like a rite of passage. So by the time we got into school, by the time we got into high school, when people wanted to run their mouth, we never got faced by it. Now, I come from a family that's really big. My mom had a total of 14 siblings, or 14 of them in all. And I have a bunch of cousins. We're like damn near 100 first cousins, and we're always picking on each other. So it's like dealing with a whole bunch of people. The only difference is I can't run away from them. But what I learned from all of my cousins is don't get faced by what people say. They're just going to say what they're going to say. They're going to do what they're going to do. Now, as long as they're not physically harming you or trying to intentionally harm you or take advantage in any way, then let it go. And that leads me to the second part, letting go of the rejection. I've had the issue myself where it's like internalizing the hurt and the pain. And I used to do that when I was younger. Damn, I'm not good enough. Damn, how come I can't do this? How come I can't do that? Now, as you grow older and wiser, you say, okay, that just wasn't the right opportunity. I'm gonna keep it moving. So I'm gonna just let it go and move on. It makes it a lot easier when you say, all right, whatever, and then keep it moving. Dwelling on it is tough because it feels like you're not good enough on a soul level, a personality level, on a looks level, but it is what it is. And you can't just dwell on it. You can't hold on to it. You have to let it go and just go on to the next one. Now, another example for me is like in sales. So one of the companies, I like to door knock. So I'm going business to business trying to see if they want vending machines. However, a lot of places say no. So it is what it is. I'm gonna keep it moving. You can't take it personal. When I'm talking to females, it's the exact same way. I'm not gonna be able to hook up with every female. Some people are gonna say no. Some women are gonna say yes. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's rock and roll then if you're down with me. But rejection is something that's outside of a person. It's not inside of them. So when someone rejects me, never internalize it. I don't hold on to it. I let it go. And I actually use it for feedback, which is a really great thing. When someone clowns on me, roasts me, or tells me something and shuts me off, then I use what they said to figure out, okay, why'd they say it? And so it lets me understand that person's personality and how to apply it with other people. And then secondly, I use it as a process improvement place for myself. Maybe they said something that was true or not true, and I'll use that feedback to level up myself, get better and better each time. So it's a way to get stronger, get better, and grow when you actually are able to learn from your rejections. So it's important when it comes to rejection. Don't take it personal. It's someone else's opinion. Let it go. Don't dwell on it, and use it for feedback or a way to improve and grow as a person. With that, I'll check you out later. Be easy.